Michigan football retained many of its critical pieces from the 2022 season to return for one more year, but it still projects to be a heavily represented batch of players in the 2023 NFL Draft. The NFL Combine is in the books after the Wolverines sent 9 players to the annual scouting event in Indianapolis. With that in mind, here's a look at where the Michigan prospects went in our latest simulation using the Draft Network's updated mock draft machine. Cornerback DJ Turner, number 45 overall to the Atlanta Falcons. DJ Turner may have improved his stock the most of anyone at the Combine from a Michigan perspective. The former Wolverine corner ran a 4.26 40-yard dash, tied for the 4th best in the history of the event and tops in this year's running. Teams love his prowess in coverage, and now have a few more data points to suggest he could be one of the best available players in the cornerback class. There are still questions about his tackling and ability to create turnovers, but we should keep an eye on him starting to pop up more and more in first-round mocks over the next 7 weeks. Of course, this projection has him in the second round. Defensive tackle Mazi Smith, number 64 overall to the Kansas City Chiefs. Everyone was ready to grab their popcorn to see what Mazi Smith would do at the Combine. Ultimately, the former Bruce Feldman Freaks List headliner opted out of most events while rehabbing a hamstring injury. Smith still participated in the bench press and led all players on the defensive line with 34 reps of 225 pounds. The next closest player was edge Lonnie Phelps out of Kansas with 31 reps. Smith instead plans to show off his skill set at Michigan's Pro Day on March 17th. The Combine did feel like a missed opportunity for him, especially without doing a podium session with the media. His meetings with teams and Pro Day performance will ultimately decide if he winds up in the conversation with Turner as a potential first rounder. But for right now, heading to the Super Bowl champs, it could be a much worse spot to be in. Center Oluoluwatimi, number 114 overall to the Atlanta Falcons. The Remington and Outland Award winner did not light up the Combine with his testing numbers, but it does not seem like his draft stock will be affected all that much by it. Coming into the event, Oluoluwatimi was seen as a day 3 prospect that potentially has plug-and-play upside when it comes to a team that takes him in the middle rounds. Despite his college accolades and experience, his standing is not all that unexpected by the draft gurus. Quote, part of that is just we have a pretty good interior group, Daniel Jeremiah of NFL Network said on Sunday. We have 4 or 5 plug-and-play guys at center this year. So just the sheer numbers of it, when you look at historically, only a handful usually get drafted. So I think that's what pushing these guys out just a little bit. End quote. We'll see if Oluwatimi is able to up his stock at Michigan's Pro Day. Offensive tackle Ryan Hayes, number 144 overall to the Las Vegas Raiders. Ryan Hayes' status as an NFL prospect is very similar to how people talked about Andrew Stueber last offseason. Hayes does a lot of things well, but does not have one trait that stands out to hang his hat on. He is a superior athlete to Stueber, but arm length has NFL scouts thinking that a move inside to guard could be possible. Another concern listed is his ability to hold up against power rushers. Tight end Luke Schoonmaker, number 145 overall to the Cleveland Browns. If not for DJ Turner's blistering 40-yard dash, Luke Schoonmaker might be the story of the Combine for the Wolverines. He ran an official 4.63 40-yard dash at 6'5", 251 pounds. His 10-yard split came in at 1.57 seconds, and he ran the shuttle drill in 4.27 seconds. Schoonmaker's athletic testing was rounded out by a broad jump of 10 feet 7 inches and a vertical jump of 33.5 inches. There are still questions about his blocking ability and a lack of consistent production at Michigan, but his performance in Indianapolis has a lot of scouts going back and revisiting his film. He has now solidified himself as one of the top sleepers at tight end in a potentially historically ranked year at the position. Edge Mike Morris, number 154 overall to the Seattle Seahawks. Mike Morris shaved 17 pounds off of his 6'6", 292-pound playing weight during the 2022 season in hopes to improve his athletic testing numbers. Unfortunately, the NFL Combine performance was not what he had hoped for. He ran a 4.95 second 40-yard dash, which was 20th of 21 at defensive end, with a 1.72 second 10-yard split, which is 19th out of 21 defensive ends. His 28.5-inch vertical jump was 28th out of 31, and his 9-foot 2-inch broad jump slotted 29th out of the same amount of players. NFL teams will likely get a guy that holds down the fort in a defensive line rotation, but his svelte appearance in Indy does not look like it is going to get him drafted anytime before day 3. And last but certainly not least, wide receiver Ronnie Bell, number 173 overall to the Los Angeles Rams. Ronnie Bell put in a solid day's work at the office, running his 40-yard dash in 4.54 seconds with a 10-yard split of 1.52 seconds. He went through the 3-cone drill with a time of 6.98 seconds and completed his 20-yard shuttle in 4.15 seconds. Bell recorded a 10-foot broad jump and hit 38.5 inches on his vertical jump. Bell looks like a solid day 3 receiver that could provide some special teams value as a returner.